one knight c6 speed run. Well, a nice easy one here. Pretty much a non-committal opening, not going for anything there. I'll try to keep my setup a little bit. Been going for this and kind of an early castle, and of course taking the center always makes sense as well. But against this setup, I do feel like h5 and bishop h3 is also very tempting. So let's go for this. Hey, thanks, buddy Brando. Welcome, guys. That's a nice move. I think we'll go with the knight here. We have e5. This move looks good to kick that knight away. Go h4, bishop h3. And yeah, knight c6, queen d7 feels good together because we know that we're planning to long castle. Okay, this pawn is hit, so I suppose we'll defend it. But really what we're looking for is bishop h3, getting castled. I'm just hoping we're not losing too much in the process. So far, so good. Everything's defended. So he's attacking again. I think I'm going to go bishop h3. It's sort of a way to defend, I guess you could say. Okay, so this is the move I was, not looking forward to seeing. The reason is if we take, of course, we win the rook, but I'm not really interested in winning the rook. I'd rather him just not take the pawn and exchange these. So I feel like this is kind of a blunder by white, but I think it's a really good blunder. So we can take this bishop, knight takes, king takes, and then take on g3 and go queen h3. That will certainly be good. But I'm not sure if it'll be the best. Nevertheless, it is a little bit of an attack, so we could consider taking here. We could consider taking here. I think it gets it done all the same. And of course, it would be a little bit better for white to capture with the f pawn. And he does do it. And he also does that. All right, so we get the queen here, but as long as white does not go king g1, then this is a game. We'll long castle here. Obviously, I think our opening has been a bit of a success. Yeah, this one I don't think is quite enough. Let's give a check. If the king goes back, then we can take this pawn. King up does not look like the move. Take another pawn with check. Yes, this knight can come back, and it should, and it does. Then play this. I don't really want to allow queen g4. If we castle, queen g4, queen trade, that's not what I'm looking to do. Now, this king cannot castle. Let's remember that. It's very important to remember that. Okay, so we'll get the pin in. King is probably just going to keep running, honestly. As it should. Okay, we can see what he wants to do here. But there's a lot of pieces that are stuck. Just cannot move. And we're starting to invade some really nice squares here. Threats here, 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 here. We'll put the knight back on d3, I think. Actually, knight g4 I think could be better. Just because of knight e3. So he actually makes the correct move there with queen e1. Still, however, we can play knight takes e3 and knight f1. Not quite mate, but we do have some ideas. Check, and then queen back. Let's try to give a check here. And we'll slowly close things down. If the bishop moves, we have mate. So I think we can take here. GG. Safwan. He ran that king around real nice. Remember, that king started over here. He castled this way. And then the king went all the way like that. Not a bad journey. Not a bad journey. Got some mileage in. Now, knight c6, d5. I've said it kind of lends you to queenside castling, because positions where you play c6, they lend you to kingside castling because you've already exposed this diagonal, and with your knight on d7 and your bishop here, your queen doesn't always have a square, and this, it makes it weaker to castle. So knight c6 is how you actually queenside castle. Your queen has a square after the bishop comes out, and so you get some more aggressive positions in general. GG. All right. Knight c6 on move number 1. I guess we'll play d5 since I've been invited so nicely. Bishop f5, queen d7. I feel like this is kind of what we've been doing. It doesn't have to be queen d7. It can also be just e6 and bishop d6. So let's go for that. He decides to hit us with knight b5. It's not really dangerous because we have this move. And we also could try this, but yeah, the answer is just rook c8. This idea of the fried liver on the queen side is not effective here, and we're going to be able to play a move like that. Bishop d6, knight e7. I'm thinking about knight e7, also f6, but yeah, I think knight e7 for now. Gotta move this guy. Bishop g6 comes to mind. All right, it's time to take some pieces here, I think. I also really like the move h5. Looks like it will be useful. I'm going to take with the bishop. Seems unusual, but taking with the knight means I lose a tempo, like my bishop has to move again. So I'm going to start with this. I'm thinking about this one, although white can play that. Yeah, this is looking still pretty good here. The other idea that we had was f6 instead of taking, but I feel that capturing makes pretty good sense here. Now, this move could result in something good for us. We can take and put the knight on f5. I think that's a really good position. It's a little bit slower. And then the obvious is just to take the material. So I suppose we'll cash in something. takes, queen d4. For some reason, I can see that happening. Or queen d4 right away, to be honest, but I think capturing first. That would immediately lose the game. I haven't castled mainly because I have an h-pawn here, so that would be a very bad move. And I can't castle the other way. So for now, I'm comfortable in the center while I hopefully wait for my opponent to play one of these two moves and hang the queen. But actually, we're not going to get a single move. But he's not even here. He's not even here with us. Winning the center pawn was too much. Oh, he's back. He's back. Just in time to allow knight f3 check. Hey, what a great move. Queen e2. A heroic effort. Okay, it's time to move this. He's still up on time after all of that. Respect. Can also take. I think we'll bring the knight back to d6. Okay, we're safeguarding this. Knight wants to be here. I think the pawn wants to go to g6. No, he decides to take. He's correct that he can recapture this. He's not correct that that was a smart thing to do. And he might double the rooks here, which would hand over another bit of material. So the problem is, all he got was 2 pawns for this sack. So it's not quite what he wanted to do. We've defended this pawn so that finally we've earned the right to castle. We deserve this. It was almost the last move we played in the game. We got an extra knight, not afraid to use it. I feel that he's trying to make use of the pin here, but just not able to do it. Okay. Perhaps queen c7. Double attack. Oh, defends none of the pieces attacked. Check. Just take some more. Take everything. And obviously a completely winning endgame. Up many pawns and many pieces. GG, unfortunate disconnect. Okay, so we kind of got a London guy here. Knight b5 is a waste of time. And yeah, the other way to play would be something like f6 or takes and then f6. These are always perfectly fine. Remember, I have this thing. If I play f6 and the bishops trade, I almost always take with the queen. But here, if the bishops traded, I would probably take with the pawn. If the pawn's on f6, I don't really like this as much. If the pawn's on f7, I do. The plan is not really to play e5. It's just to leave the pawns like this and enjoy the open file and the control of all these squares. Okay, one knight c6. If d4, we're going to play this. If queen h5, we've faced this before. We're going to do this. We're going to play d5. And white isn't even dreaming of checkmating here. It's so far from happening. Could not be further. Knight d4 makes sense because we're going to win a pawn here. Bishop e3, we have e5. Ooh, if only we had a queen h4 move available. which makes me think, is e5 playable? Perhaps not. I think it's a bit much. Basically, I feel like it's unnecessary. Let's just go back and chill. Happy to trade queens. I mean, yeah, let's get the center. We really want to control this diagonal as well. No castling here. Bishop can drop back. This bishop, I feel, might want to jump in, actually. I'm expecting knight e4. Bishop g5 to capture. We're gonna have to take with the g-pawn there. And at this point, I think castling makes sense. Rook e8 and e4, I think, is next. That's the plan. We gotta watch out for a4, a5. Here, that's a fair question. If we go back, we have to make sure that we have something planned if b3 and c4 happens. But yes, I'm gonna continue to try to prevent castling, I think. Not much thought going into this move, I have to admit. It just feels correct. Because the e-pawn, I'd actually be happier if the e-pawn was literally not on the board. So this is my way of literally not putting it on the board. Oh, that's not a move you can play. Oh, and neither is that one. Long range bishop. Gonna be very useful from a distance. Okay, but what can we say? We're dealing with nearly 1,000 ELO player who is playing queen h5 on the second move of the game. And this is not even e4, e5, queen h5, which is at least an opening. This is a really, really bad move, very bad habit to be in, and obviously losing a center pawn a couple moves into the game should be punishment enough. All right, one knight c6. If d4, I think we'll play d5. Most people tend to play e5, but let's see what happens if someone takes. That hasn't happened too often. We immediately have a threat. My next move is going to be e5. Attacking the d4 pawn. Trying to entice this move. And we're just going to play very, very quickly. So we're going to play bishop g4. We're pinning, we're threatening this. We're going to castle with the tempo. King e2, we're going to win a bishop. So you can see that it all happens really, really quickly. This whole opening is about tempo. King e3, we could take the bishop. We could also maybe do more than that, but we don't want to be too greedy. Like here, for example, I can take on a1, but there's a possibility my knight gets trapped in there. I don't really want to stick around to find out. So I'm probably just going to take this, keep it real easy. Oh, and there you go. That's a nice quick victory. The two most common moves I think you can expect after knight c6, like e4, d4, why not? Queen comes into the middle. Our next move is e5. White has to deal with d4 hanging. Boom, there comes e5. And if you play this line, the tempo that you're gaining, every single move, I mean, look how quickly we're winning that. This is probably not going to be the last time that we see this variation. All right, one knight c6. Let's see what we get here. f4. Don't usually see that. Let's think for a second. I think I'm probably just going to stick with d5. Even though this is a little bit unusual with the pawn on f4. And yeah, normally we would be able to play e5 or something. So what are we gonna do here? We keep the queen out and about. It's like a Scandinavian, but it's with f4. And f4, I don't know, to me it feels like f4 cannot possibly be an extremely good move. Okay, definitely a long castle type of game here. Queen on a5 can get, let's say, a little misplaced. And perhaps this is one of the ways. But b4, we can just take it for now. So we're happy to leave it there. Take some material. It's still a game here. Our dark squares are going to be a little weaker because of what just happened, but we are up material. I'm not complaining. Let's see what he's going to do. Oh no. That ain't a good one. That's some material for me. Bishop d2. We have ways out, so we're not losing our queen there. Probably I'll go to b2. Yeah, he's going to resign. That's a lot of material, unfortunately. Losing the exchange, but then the knight means you're down a total of a rook in the end. Yeah, I don't see f4 too often, but I'll probably stick with our general plan of knight out, probably d5 next. You know, if white had played knight c3, knight f3, bishop c4, we're probably playing f5. This unusual move, but against this, I think we're playing d5. All right, well, knight c6. It's great to know what you're doing on move number 1. f5. A little bit of the Colorado counter gambit. Now we want to play d5, but remember, when the knight's not on f3, no matter which variation it is, you have to make sure that you prevent queen h5. You must. Okay, and this is what we usually do. We're trying to get rid of this bishop and take this pawn. You could easily forget that. I was going to say, you could easily forget that this is there. Now taking, we win the rook, or taking here, we get the queen for 2 pieces. It's actually a tough call. I think the queen for the 2 pieces is better here, only because when we win the whole rook, I don't think I can say for sure that my knight escapes. If I could, I would take the rook instead, definitely. So I think technically taking the queen is better there, but we're going to go here because we can't resist, can we? If we were playing a higher rated player, I think we would take the queen. Because we're playing a lower rated player, I think this is the correct decision. Taking the rook because there's likely going to be another blunder to follow. Take this, bishop here. We're not going to save all of our pieces, but yeah. This should be good enough. We'll be up a rook at the end of this, I think. Oh, perhaps even more. Get to take. Yeah, we should save this knight. I think it's knight e4. Bishop h5, g6. I'm waiting to take on c1. And then does this bishop escape? It seems like yes. Just want to make sure. Or actually queen b6. I think queen b6 is a pretty sound move to play because it's very easy to miss that checkmate. GG. GG to Holmes. Sherlock Holmes. Yeah, f5, it's just important to stop queen h5. Otherwise, we're going to be lost. And then next move d5, uncovering the attack. Even if they defend it, we want to immediately get rid of the piece. Knight b4. And for example, queen e2, I think we would take and go like this. So we get the pawn no matter what. We have had a game that's gone like this before. Yeah, it's just kind of offbeat. I don't know, throws people off. f5 is a very weird move. I'm not disliking it, but I'm curious to see how stronger and stronger players play against it, obviously. All right, our first move is easy. Knight f3, the Colorado counter gambit in its full form. Let's play d6. We want to play e5 next. I think I'm going to play it anyway. Take with the pawn. And obviously we got to take with the king here, just because taking here drops this. So we're going to do that. And now we got to make sure we are playing things in the correct way. Because knight g5 is coming, so we want to be mindful of that. And king c7, there's knight d5. So I'm thinking that perhaps we want to get rid of this knight as a priority. Okay, I think that I am going to trade and hide my king here. Let's see how this works. Now that the knight's not in a pin, I decided to take it. So let's see. Let's see if we can hide our king safely here. This is not the end of the world. I think I'm going to let it happen. Ideal would be if, like, somehow we prevented that as well. So I could play rook here, but that seems a little too greedy. Solidified the center here. I like it so far. Bishop d3 runs into e4. Knight a5 could be an idea. And in fact, after that move, I think it's most definitely an idea. Oh no, he walked into the only threat I mentioned. It wasn't really a threat when I mentioned it, it was just a thought. But he walked into it. Pawn forks are brutal. And let's trade again. We have rook d7. And now that we've liquidated, I think we should be okay. What are we gonna do? Rook here is a bit passive for my liking. Yeah, I think I prefer this actually. More aggressive. That is, shall we say, not the move. That is not the move. Okay, I think we can trap the rook here with rook c4. Now the rook can never get out. Permanently stuck in jail. It's true that if we move the rook, it will be able to get out, but we're going to choose to ignore that. And in this case, we're able to end the game with a nice checkmate pattern. And that will be 1,000 as well. Up to 1,000 ELO. Woo. Honestly, every single level, I find myself saying, I can't believe it's still working at this level. Not working overall, but that maybe the early tactics are still there. We're winning a lot of games still in the first 10 moves. You made it to the end of another episode in the One Knight C6 speedrun, an opening that we can play with the black pieces against anything. Subscribe to the chessbrah channel if you haven't already, and turn on post notifications so you do not miss our next upload. And of course, leave a comment down below if you're enjoying this series.